We're live, and JB, you're waiting on me because I was texting a couple people. Anyway, we got more going to be joining us. We got William on here now, and we're going to put together a little panel tonight to talk about making tires disappear in the most fun way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Who all's in here tonight? We have Unfinished Project. He's been here for close to an hour. Cope was in here to say 904s are for girls. First Responder Garage, Wendy English. I'm letting him know 904s are for winners, like Buff Del Campo there below me. One-Eyed Cat, talking about road toads. One-Eyed Cat's wife, Wendy. Stan Nelson, burnouts. So you're interviewing who? Well, William, but we got some other folks going to come in and join us too. Justin Hill is here. Thumper is here.
Maybe I need to have that sitting right there.
NSB Custom Cars. Perpetual Project says they've been out of touch. Any way to do a quick rundown? Yes. We'll talk about the schedule here in a bit, but Thursday's going to be a big fun day. I sure hope you know we're doing a movie on Thursday after the dinner cruise to Lambert's, and we're going to have tech open on Thursday as well. We're going to have burnout competition Friday night, and the bracket will be on Friday during the day, and then the heads up on Saturday with call-outs mixed in both days. Looking forward to seeing you guys. NSB guys are here. Pure Pontiac Garage. Cope says Mopar Joe is not a mod tonight. I won't get kicked out. Well, if one of the other mods would like to pick up the slack for Mopar Joe and kick Cope out if he gets out of line. Let's see. Unfinished Project says NNN23, eat, race, burnout, and go home. That works for me. Calling Tebow is here. Engine Light Garage. JB. Heavens Mopar Scott. His school year started, changes hours, so he can be here on Fridays again. Bad Tree Productions is here. We might see those guys in the chat here in a bit too. Or on the panel. Sherry is here. L&A Auto Works and Bigfoots and Mopars and Rabbit Transit J. Oh, they're all flooding in now. Andrew Nelson is here. J-Bo. Hey, J-Bo, are you still unwrapping that steel? I heard there was 722 feet of shrink wrap on it. Junkyard D. Mater's Workshop. Smoke if you can afford new tires. There's no shortage of tires that need to be finished off. Chris Greenaway, hope to see Thumper wins. Well, Chris, come down and watch. See what happens. Hey, Bear Rose. Irish Outlaw. What kind of folks in here tonight? Well, cool. Thank you for coming to spend your Friday with us. Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans. My mom is here. She must be watching notifications. She's always here like right when it starts. I don't know if she's here for the end, but she's always here when it starts. Dr. Art is here. We have a doctor in the house.
Got Brian here.
Yep. Hot Rod Guy Garage. Well, cool. Glad all y'all could make it. It's important to me to greet all of you guys. You all have better things to do on your Friday than hang out with us, but you do it anyway, and I very much appreciate it. But tonight we got a panel, and I just figured I'd get a sampling of the folks who will be participating in the burnout competition of the second annual No Name Nationals. And Williams, our defending champion, and he is going to put on a show again this year, 2 weeks from right now. 2 weeks from right now. And looking forward to that. And we got some other folks maybe joining us. But for those of you who haven't seen, go back in your YouTube videos, because we've had a lot of new people joining our community who might not remember. And go back and look at footage from the burnout competition. There's great footage of it on various channels. I know Bad Tree Productions had some really good footage of it. Streetcar Chronicles had some really good footage of it. Lots of channels did. So go back and check it out. It promises only to be wilder this year. So I think Last year was wild. Don't get me wrong. We had all kinds of stuff last year. We even had a guy, square body Chad, burning dualies. He was smoking 4 tires in the burnout pit.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. And these guys are always one up and up in the ante. So, yeah. Good stuff. I always keep my phone on in case there's something I miss or something that, so I keep it up down here. Occasionally I put things up. But William, what was it made you want to get into the burnout competition? For those of you who haven't seen William's burnout, that picture behind it, William, if you can move it just so they can see, there's a charger in the bottom of that. He smoked out the entire neighborhood, and the only reason the fire department, well, actually 2 of the fire department were already there on site, but the only reason they didn't send pumper trucks in panic is because we told them what we were doing. So,
that,
I mean, I'm sure you could see that for miles.
That column of smoke was at least 200 or 300 feet high.
It was unbelievable.
At least. It was unreal.
That was actually that neighborhood.
That was actually my Charger's first 440 burnout.
It was pretty wild. I mean, at Jeffers, one thing about this burnout pit that a lot of people don't know, the folks who've been there know, but the people who have not don't realize this. Our burnout competition is different than every other one you'll ever go to. All the racing and shows shut down for this. Okay. So the track goes cold by 6 p.m. and we have an hour of setup. And the burnout competition starts at 7 p.m. And the entire event comes down there. People all hanging out, watching, cheering, having a good time. Okay. It's under the lights. So as you can see all that backlit smoke there, it's under the lights, got 2 big light plants, looks great. And it's in a neighborhood because it's up at the top end of the track. And there's houses all around. The track was built in 1969. And they carried the shutdown all the way down to where literally, as I call it, Sykeston Beach, the sand that's at the end of the track, that's in a neighborhood. So those people have never seen anything like that before, right? I don't care how long they've been there. There's never been anything like that at that track. So they were coming out of their houses and walking through the woods to watch this. And I thought that was pretty cool. We got Nate here. I don't know if he's... here we go. What's happening, blue collar guys? Got blue collar Nate muscling cars. Oh, we can't hear you guys though.
Yeah, I think there's an issue with your mic.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have any sound on you yet, but I'm glad you're here. I see Tall Garage has joined us and Mopar Al. Got troubleshooting going on. This is interesting. It's good stuff. NSB says he's right next to the fire department guys. They loved it. They had a good view. Indeed, they had a good time. And add a little bit more to the neighborhood here. Busted Radio Garage in the house.
What's up?
How's it going?
It's going. Busy, busy, busy.
I know it's been busy. I dropped in on Chris's live a little earlier today.
Yeah.
But so we were given a quick rundown. Nate's working on his sound. We're working on a quick rundown of what the burnout competition is like, the No Name Nationals. And for those who weren't there last year, we shut the event down for this so that everybody is at the end of the shutdown of the track. It's a big burnout pit, and it's under the lights. So it's at night, it's backlit, you got light plants, and it's also kind of backs up to a neighborhood because the track was built in 1969 and the neighborhood built up all around it. And so the shutdown is basically in a neighborhood. And they've never seen anything like this, but the track's grandfathered in. There's no curfew or anything. So the people, they were loving it. They were walking out of their houses through the woods to watch this going on last year. So
nice.
Hopefully they will again. Hopefully they will again. but it's a different kind of atmosphere. It's a lot of fun, and I'm kind of curious. This is a question for both of you guys. What possesses somebody to want to do a burnout competition? What is it that really makes you say, I want to get in front of a bunch of people and send a set of tires into the stratosphere?
Well, I'll let William go first. Go ahead.
For me, I've actually been asked this before. Doing a burnout competition in a controlled, safe environment and being able to let your car loose without the fear of getting a ticket there is nothing like it. Trusting your car, knowing it can do it, and just putting the pedal to the metal and letting them roast. There is nothing else like it. I'm sure people that go down the track say the same thing. Taking your car to a track and going down the track in a controlled, safe environment where you can just let it loose. There is nothing like it. And I didn't go to No Name expecting to do the burnout competition, but I brought those extra tires just in case I wanted to. And I gotta give it to my YouTube buddies, Scott Speed Shop and Brian at Dust Devil Garage. They kind of gave me that last little push I needed to actually do it, and I am so glad I did it.
How about you, Chris? What possesses a person to do this?
Well, first off, John, I want to thank you for having me here.
Thanks for being here.
And I can't answer everybody in the chat, so I just want to say hello to everybody. I see BRG everywhere on there. So hello to everybody. For me, it's two parts for me. For one, it's my way to participate and be with the car community as a whole. Because when we go to these burnout competitions, as William said, I mean, there's drag racing going on. There's generally drifting going on. There's burnout competitions, whatever. So for me, I get to hang out with everybody all in one environment, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I'm just an idiot. I enjoy going out there for the rush. Once Linda gets her blower, we'll be able to do the 70 or 80 mile an hour tip ins and see if we can keep them hitting the wall. But it's just, again, like William said, it's just letting it loose and just having a ball with your car, and you're not going to hurt anybody, with the exception of possibly yourself. But if you're safe, you're covered there, and you don't have to worry about the tickets or any breaking any laws. And then you can inspire the future generation, keep the kids interested in the sport. Like I've said 1,000 times before, if we don't keep the next generation interested, whether it's burnouts, drag racing, road course, whatever, this is going to be gone in 20 years. So it's the community and the rush for me all wrapped in one, if that makes sense.
Cool. Blue collar and muscling cars. What's happening, guys?
What's going on? Good. Can you hear me now?
You got sound. So I just posed the question to William and Chris about what makes a person want to do this. What makes you want to turn a set of tires to dust?
Oh, force of habit. I don't know, man. It's just all my life I just love doing burnouts, and I would tell you some stories about having done burnouts on the street, but I can't because he's a cop. But no, I've just always loved doing them, man. Donuts, burnouts. It's just I enjoyed it, and I can't even tell you why. I mean, it's probably one of the more wasteful things you can do with your car, but my God, man. But I don't know. I guess my answer is I don't know. I just want to.
I think it's probably being a kid watching somebody else do it. Yeah. Just the hype of seeing tire smoke and hearing motor maxed out. I think that's what it is for me.
I want to do that. Yeah.
You got to give the people what they want.
But doing burnouts and donuts and stuff is like controlling your own roller coaster.
Yep.
And I love riding on roller coasters. I haven't been on a lot, but I love roller coasters. and doing donuts and burnouts and stuff like that, feeling the G's of your car whipping around. It's just it's like controlling your own roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know too, man. It's just a good way to vent some aggression. You know, it's like I deal with the public all day, every day, and sometimes it's just good to just let it out, and that's a good way to just let it out.
Watching the crowd go insane is also something that's awesome too. Just they go absolutely crazy, especially if you fill your blow tires with like 60 or 70 pounds of air, and they pop and they just get that big old boom or boom boom right in a row. They absolutely love it.
So it brings me to a question: what is the most damage you guys have done in a burnout competition or breakage or whatnot?
Well, I hit the wall in Homer a month or two ago.
Right.
Tore up the whole front end of him. The most damage I done with Linda, I put 100 pounds of air in both my rear tires at the Freedom Factory back in April. And when they popped, I actually blew the trunk pan loose on Linda. Busted the factory weld.
Wow.
So when you look in the trunk of Linda, it's fixed now, but it blew the whole trunk pan loose from the seam sealer and folded it back like a tuna can.
Wow.
But the explosion that come from that was unreal because the crowd just went crazy. And luckily it didn't butt my quarters. Linda's got I think William probably knows what these are, but they're just tread cutters. It's essentially a piece of 1/4-inch steel that's shaved down like a razor blade, and it's welded to the back of the car. So as your tread tires comes flying off, it just cuts it off, so it doesn't beat the crap out of the tread pan. You take a piece of 1/4-inch steel and essentially just weld a bracket in, and as you pop your tires, depending how they pop, whether they just disintegrate and all you have is the steel around where the bead is, or if it comes off like a gator skin, like you see on the highway,
right?
You can take a piece of 1/4-inch steel and cut it down like a knife edge, and as your tread comes off and spins around, it cuts it off, so it doesn't go in there and beat your quarter panels all to death.
Yeah,
that's actually a really cool idea.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I never heard of such a thing. That's pretty cool.
So fortunately, I saved my quarters, but the air pressure wasn't any good. It was fun though.
Now, Nate, I know you guys have broken all kinds of things. I probably couldn't make a list long enough for all the stuff Nate's broken this year fixed. Well, you use your stuff hard. What can I say?
Well, it's you know about life, man. I always say this ain't a practice lap. This is the one round you get around the deal, and you better make it count because you don't get a mulligan. But it's like cars are to enjoy. It's like this 90. Actually, this is the hood for here. I'm working on. I've been buffing it and trying to make it nice and stuff. And one of my buddies, he's like, "Man, that thing's almost too nice to drive." And I'm like, "Dude, there ain't no such thing." And if you're gonna have it, you should enjoy it, is my opinion. Because what are you gonna do? Keep it nice for the next guy? But I'll tell you what, it's breakage. I'm gonna sit right here and say I bought a winch for the front of my trailer that I fully anticipate needing after the burnout contest. And because I'm going there. I'm going to operate my vehicle with total disregard for the health and well-being of it. Because I'm not afraid to break my stuff, and he's not afraid to break my stuff either.
Yes. I get to go ham on a powertrain that is not mine.
Oh, man. Dakota, the answer is yes. Dakota asks if he's famous. The answer is yes.
Not yet.
William, did you have any fallout or breakage from last year, or have you ever broken anything good doing burnouts?
When I was doing the burnout at No Name last year, I wasn't watching my gauges. I wasn't watching anything on my dash. I wasn't watching anything aside from the smoke and everything around me. I didn't realize until after I had gotten home and then drove the Charger after No Name that I busted my speedometer.
Yeah.
My the spring that returns the needle back to zero broke. and the needle is just everywhere now.
That's classic old Mopar, though. I mean, Lindas don't work either.
Thankfully, though, I was able to source a really, really good original Speedo that I will be putting in my Charger after No Name. But I haven't really done a lot of burnouts. But the two that's on my channel are really the only two I've ever done. There was one at my aunt's house, but it wasn't a sit still roasting burnout. But the Speedo is probably the only thing I've broken, aside from destroying the tires, obviously. But yeah.
Speaking of the tires, and I see a lot of comments in the chat about used tires and whatnot. I'll start this one off for Chris because he seems to put a lot of technology into his burnouts, and that's a good thing. What do you look for in the right tires for doing your burnouts? And by the way, since you guys are competing against each other, even though it's friendly, if there's any trade secrets you don't want to let out, then don't. I'm just saying this is an opportunity. Anything you want to share. So what kind of tires make for the right burnout competition tires?
Well, I have a tire sponsor, and it's just probably what a lot of people do, not speaking for them, is ours are just Douglas tires. They're Walmart tires. Okay. We never use used. All our tires are always brand new. And ours are 215/70/15s are the size we use. And the reason being that is I want mine a little bit taller because I want the width brought in a little bit so when they do explode, Homer doesn't matter. But for Linda, I want it so when they explode, it's within the fender well. Because I don't want anything out of the fender well, because I've seen competitions where something will explode and fly into the crowd. Now, like some of the bigger competitions with Cletus and Mo Party and things like that, they keep the crowd pretty far back. But if you get into like a mom and pop run burnout competition to where it's not a standing burnout, it's what we call a pit burnout, the crowd's generally pretty close. And what I would hate is if I had a wider tire that blew the casing and it goes off and hits a kid or somebody in the face or whatever. And with Linda's horsepower, I prefer to keep it contained to the car. I'd rather damage the car than somebody else.
Yeah.
Or hurt somebody, if that makes sense. But we generally stick with 15/70s. All Douglas. That's because they sponsored the car.
Okay. Cool. Now, do you say you always use new tires? You never use used tires. Is there any tactical reason for that other than having a sponsor?
Well, in the competitions that we compete in with Cletus or Garrett, however you guys know him by, there's time limits. So you cannot pop your tires before 60 seconds, and you cannot pop them after 2 minutes. So if you go in there with this used set of tires and you pop them in 45 seconds or 50 seconds or whatever, you're out. You're DQ'd. So you essentially got to have enough tires to make it past the 1 minute, but you'd have to be able to set your RPMs to get them off before the second minute. So I think they put that in play for that reason. If somebody runs in to do a burnout competition and they think it's based on time, and if they pop their tires in 10, 12 seconds, yay, I got them off. No, you have to be able to control your RPMs on your car to get them off within a certain window.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can see that.
Like Mo Party, that one's difficult because you have to get in the pit. Once you start, you have 60 seconds to take off a set of tires. Now, they're supposed to monitor them, but they really don't, and that's fine. I don't care. But even with the Linda, it's extremely difficult to get a set of tires off in 59 seconds because that 60-second, the horn goes off. The best we've ever done is I blew one and got the other one down to the wires in 60 seconds. The quickest I've ever done a brand new set of tires was 81 seconds. And I know that may sound weird to some people, but as William could probably tell you, I'm not sure about Blue Collar. I haven't met them before. A new set of tires down in a minute and some change is pretty tough, unless you have, 1,500-1,600 horsepower in your car.
I timed. I looked at the video and timed it with the minute those wheels started to spin to when I stopped. I stopped when it still had air, but the belt was slapping the inside of the car. Was like a minute and 20 seconds. It probably
Hey,
would have
that's hella
lasted
good.
about 5 or 10 more seconds, if that.
Yep. I can't tell you how many we've just been DQ'd from that. It's just, your outer casing will come off, or the gator tail, if you call it, but the metal radial is holding the tire together, and they just don't pop.
Well,
Don't
those
pop
tires,
one on the trailers.
the tires I used last year, and the tires I used for my Charger's first burnout, also on my channel, were both used tires. I got them.
Yeah.
I got the ones I used last year from a buddy of mine, probably about 6 months or a year prior, specifically to burn them off whenever I got the chance to, and they were decent tires. They weren't really dry rot. They were just older tires. The tires that were on the back when I did my first burnout, those were old tires out of a salvage yard.
Yep.
And again, just old tires, but they weren't dry rot or anything, but they were just older tires. But
when it comes down to older tires, and you may know this, William, back in the 70s, like the set, I just bought a set that I burnt off at Freedom Factory and just now.
Mm-hmm.
This compound in 70s model tires versus the compound in newer tires. The 70s tires are a lot better because the compound's different. And I would prefer to buy 70s tires at a swap meet that are brand new. People sell the red lines that are brand new 70s or NOS red line tires and burn them to the ground, because you'll get 50%, if not more, smoke out of them than you will if I take sponsored tires and go. So if you're going specifically, like some competitions will judge you on instant smoke or constant smoke. Those are the ones I take, like my NOS 70s tires down and run them, because the compound is a lot stiffer, a lot harder, and they smoke 50 or 60% better than a newer tire.
Yeah. And now for me, when I say older tires, the ones I was using both times were probably about anywhere from 10 to 15 years old. They weren't like 80s and like that old. They were just old used tires somebody would buy to drive on the street. And after my Charger's first burnout, we actually kept those tires on the back and actually drove on them for a while.
Nice.
Don't get me wrong. There was basically no tread left, but we still drove around just because it held air.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, the tires I'm going to be using are the ones that are on it.
We're on it.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, but the tires I'm going to be using are the ones that are on it, because I figure, like the car on my channel, everybody's saying it as is with the wheels set up the way it is. I'm just going to say it like it is. It's I'm bringing my drag radials in case it does survive the burnout contest and I want to go down the racetrack. But I'm just gonna run what's on it.
There's a lot to the will to win and burn stuff down. I'll tell you that.
Well, I have that.
Yeah. Yeah, I see some common themes with the guys who are geared. They're mentally wired to do the burnout competition, and they have certain themes with the way they run their stuff, and it's cool. It's different. It's definitely not the same as the bracket racer, for example. I'm not saying you can't do both, but it's two very different things. I usually see different things coming out of them. And I think it's cool. I think it's great. I like all the different. We have so much variety in this community. It's wonderful. But so, what things would you do just in general besides the tires? Like what makes for a good burnout competition car? Everything is different. Like we all talk about what makes for a fast race car. You hear guys talk about how they build a demo derby car, how people build, a mud racing truck. There's all kinds of different specializations in motorsports. What makes for a good burnout car? I don't know. You guys are the pros. What makes for a good burnout car?
I think the driver has a lot to do with it.
It's 90% driver.
Yep.
You don't.
Okay.
my Charger probably has. I have never taken my car to a dyno. I don't officially know exactly what the horsepower is. It's just a mild cam 440. I'm probably in the range of 400 something. I would guess, but I honestly don't know. But it's got torque.
The biggest thing for me is wheel speed. If you don't have wheel speed, it doesn't matter. You get that wheel speed as fast as you can and keep it there. For me, it's wheel speed, good front brakes, and then as Blue Car Performance, I don't know their name, I apologize, is the driver. I mean, you got to be able to drive the car, but if you don't have the wheel speed, it's not going to dance around if you're in a pit environment, if that makes sense. You're not going to be able to keep the speed up.
Yeah.
Keep the wheels spinning, and then you're not going to smoke your tires. I mean,
Yeah,
we all seen what happened in India last year. I lost wheel speed right off the tip end and ran straight in the wall. The car would not do anything. And that was just because I lost wheel speed.
So Heavens Mopars has a good question here. What's a good RPM to roast them? What kind of wheel speed? How much wheel speed do you want? What's too much?
For me, it's 120 or 130 mile an hour wheel speed. I think is safe. And I run Linda on their tag at 6,000 the whole run.
Yeah.
I'll be on the ship.
I did look at my gauges, but I think I remember looking at my RPM. I think I was around 3,000 or so RPM in second gear.
Yep.
Well,
I
never left second. I kept mine. I kept mine in second gear and did the burnout because I've always heard that when you're doing a burnout and stuff, keep it in second to avoid blowing the sprag. So I left it in second and just punched it.
Well, my rev limiter on my car is set at 7,000, so that's what mine's going to be.
And what's mine say?
I'm going to turn it down. I got to beat you.
Oh,
That's
I have no temp, no pressure, no temp,
and I'm tuning.
and no care at all.
He's screwed.
Don't care.
I will say this about my car last. I will say
What?
this about my Charger last year. It needed some major tuning to the timing, and the carburetor wasn't really tuned right. I've got the car tuned right now, and I've got a 750 Demon carburetor on it right now, and the Charger is very happy.
Yep.
So
your Charger and my Roadrunner are probably really close to the same weight.
Should make for a really interesting show this year.
So and this is a jump. It's a jump for any of you about like transmissions, because we all know you can really grenade a sprag, especially in a torque flight. Hooking it up into first gear. Anything special any of you do to your transmissions to help them survive such a thing?
Linda's got a stock 727, and we keep a built 904 as a backup because John and I agree, I think, pretty close on how the 904 can be if it's built right. But Linda does run a 727 now. Huh?
I love the 904.
Yep. But I've never had an issue with my 727 at all. Not at all.
My Charger's transmission was built in the early 80s by a shop in Memphis, Tennessee. And that's what's in it.
My truck in my driveway.
But it is a Hemi automatic, so I do have that going for me. So
yeah,
it's got the beefier drums and everything, so that's good with that.
Nate seems to be the kind of guy that breaks every single part and figures out the weak links by brute force.
Well, you got to find things, man. It's like, a good mechanic knows how to smoke test something. You take a paper clip and put it where the fuse was and follow the smoke. But something I want to say though, it's like Corey here. I don't think we've clarified what he's bringing is that motor I ran on nitro out here in my driveway. We put that in his 55 Chevy, and it's going to be there. And actually we haven't done anything with it yet. We haven't done any burnouts with it or anything. It's going to be the very first sand right in front of God and everybody.
Okay. Right on. Right on. Now,
Right.
this is see, I don't know as much about doing this kind of stuff as you guys. Everybody's done good burnouts in their life, whether on purpose or on accident or whatever. But what are your thoughts on things like line locks and handbrakes, and any of you guys using those things for competitive burnouts? Just curious. I don't know.
I just foot brake mine until I get the wheel speed up, and essentially you just feather the brakes in and out as you go to do your donuts or your tip in or whatever. Other than that, it's just to the floor.
Nice.
For a sit still burnout, like I did, I do have a line lock, and I've got a line lock on there so I don't roast my back brakes doing the burnout. Now, if you're playing with it, feathering the brakes, that's different. You're not really sitting there just cooking the back brakes. So I got the line lock on. I like the line lock mainly to save on leg fatigue, holding your foot that hard on the brake.
You run rear brakes during the burnout competition?
Well, I can't turn them off. So
I don't know. I just
lock in the front.
I just disconnected. I don't run back brakes at all on any of them. I was just curious.
Oh, really?
No.
Do you just
I
do with
took mine off
the valve?
I took the proportioning valve, plugged it off, and all I have is front brakes in all my cars. We don't run rear.
Me too.
Well, my Charge is also a street car, so I didn't.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I just didn't know what you did during the burnout competition. I was curious.
No. It's line lock.
What you got? What you got, Nate?
He said streetcar, and me too.
So Colleen has a good question. Says, I heard old tires don't smoke as much. Old hard tires don't smoke as much.
That's what
I've
I
heard
use.
the exact opposite.
Man,
the old tires smoke way better.
That's what I've heard too.
Chevy farm truck, and it had some old bias fly tires on it. I mean, you could stick coins in the dry rock cracks in them things, but man, did they smoke.
Yeah, bias ply tires are the best for burnout competitions, but you got to deal with the tubes. But you get old 70s I'll pay for tires, old 70s tires, and run them before I'll take sponsored tires and run them if they're available.
Hey, Ryan, you say a 6,000 RPM burnout sounds like a terrible idea. Are you going to be in the burnout competition?
Yeah.
Ryan's got some stuff that will go pretty good in that. I'd like to see it. Wendy's got some stuff, shampoo. I was curious about the tire question too. So you're saying a 215 running arrow? We had a fellow in the burnout competition last year. He can't make it tonight, unfortunately. He ran dualies on his truck in the burnout competition. So he was smoking all four across the back. Pretty wild. I've never seen anything like it. It was different.
It did a pretty good job of it. I was actually watching those videos today.
Yep. He had broken the drive shaft, welded a new drive shaft together in the pits, put it in just in time to roll up near the end of the burnout competition and put on a good show. So, I mean, what a warrior, right? But Chad could not make it tonight.
That was something I was wanting to ask you too. Is there like a predetermined order people go in, or just whenever you get in line?
Not yet. We're probably going to have to do something this year, and I don't know if we'll do a chip draw or something, but we're going to have to this year. Last year, it wasn't quite, we didn't know what to do, for that. We didn't really have to do much for that, but this year we'll probably do something like that. And we'll have a driver's meeting just for it. But, we'll figure that part out. Next week will be our logistics live, and that'll be for all the questions. I'll have my email posted up. Anybody to ask anything, if we don't have an answer for it, we'll get you one. But Dean Stevenson says any tire smokes with enough animal fat basted over the right tire. I know Jeremy
actually
bleach last year.
I actually had somebody accuse me of treating my tires with bleach, and I told them, no, I didn't. I just put them on and roasted them off. That's it.
So, is this deal timed, or is it just like send it when you're done, you're done?
Last year we didn't have to have a time limit. We didn't know how many people would participate, and they put on a fantastic show. So last year we wanted to see what people would do. This year we don't want people, trying to melt the rim into the ground or anything. So we'll probably have to air horn people down if it gets out of hand. But we have plenty of time. There's no curfew out there, and I'm not inclined to stop somebody from putting on a good show. So.
Sounds like you got the support of the community too, which makes it nice.
Yeah. Well, it was quite a show. It was quite a show, but this event is a little different from everything else. So there's are a few things that are a little bit different. And people are there for each other. They're there for the cookout and the hangout and being together more than just seeing the cars. So it works out that way. And last year it worked out fine. We'll only add structure as we need it for how this thing grows. All righty.
Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Oh, you got
What's up?
Here's the guy that knows something about doing burnouts.
Not a single damn thing.
Blake, from the beginning of their channel, it was just, you knew these guys were about burnouts. It's in their channel trailer. I think I had you guys on in 2019 or something, and you had just won a burnout competition, the Nacho Cuda. Remember that?
Yeah. Yep. That was
the first live I had you guys on.
Yeah, that was at Cassville, Wisconsin. And that wasn't anything fancy. That was more of one of the sit still kind of deals. So it wasn't as exhilarating as whipping your car all over the place in the pit, like at No Name Nationals. You really get the adrenaline pumping doing stuff like that.
Blake put on a drifting clinic, I gotta say. And everybody, had their favorites and whatnot and everything else. I really liked all the smoke that William made. I really liked what Hippie did. I love the dually burnout. I like the crazy stuff that Steven did. But as from a perspective of drifting and the artistry like that, I really like the Nachos burnout for that. So there's different ways to like burnouts. You can't just linearly rank them because they all have different things going for them.
And I screwed that entire thing up constantly throughout the whole burnout. I kept hitting neutral and losing all wheel speed. So once you lose wheel speed, where your tires are pointing, that's where you're going to head, right into the grass infield, over the tent and the Santa Claus and all that stuff, so.
We had people, there were people watching the craziness going on in the burnout pit because these guys really get to moving around in there. And I was talking with somebody there, and they said, oh, man, they just looked out of control to him. And I said, are you kidding me? I said, I would take a nap and let Blake drift around me. You can tell who has control of their car, and you can see that. So these guys, people who are wired to do it know what they're doing.
I'll give credit where credit's due. It's the Iowa winters that taught me.
Makes sense. Ron English has asked, is there going to be more stuffed animals and sacrifices? You'll just have to show up and see. See, last year there was, so I'm going to let Nate and Chris know, since they were not there last year, that we have a strip of grass in the middle of the burnout pit. And you don't have to do anything with the grass if you don't want to, or you can totally utilize it. There's just a patch that didn't get paved in the middle of this pit, and it's totally flat across. Like there's no lip or to it or anything. But it throws people a curveball, if nothing else, just visually, right? And so last year we had a Grinch and a Santa Claus and a couple little things out there that wouldn't cause any damage, but you have to watch and see what happened with that. But you never know what may happen this year. You're not going to know what's there till you get there. How's that?
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of grass and mud on the car. It'd be all right.
I almost barrel rolled the nacho.
It'll wash.
Now, it was interesting. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe they'll pave it this year. I don't know, but it's still there. There used to be a drain there, and we made that drain hadn't been draining in I don't know how long. So we're like, well, this is easy. We filled that thing in dead flat because we can't have anybody, hooking anything. Nothing like that. So that was easy. But yeah, there's still a little bit of grass in the middle.
That's cool.
Who was it that drug the Grinch around last year? That was Roland. That was Torque Racing Productions Roland. He got the Grinch stuck under his Camaro. So he's here on the rev limiter with the Grinch stuck under his car.
I know on Thursday I'm gonna have to go down to those pits and see if my trenches are still there.
Probably so. Probably so. William may have put a little bit of divot in the pavement, but Blake, we asked these guys a few questions before you got here. Things about what do you think makes for a better burnout car, and what makes you want to do this? I'm curious to your answer. Like, what is it that makes you just want to incinerate tires for a crowd and such?
Well, I mean, it almost feels disrespectful to your car, almost, if you really care about it, right? Throw that out the window. But, wheel speed and, it's almost like you're in control of your own tilt-a-whirl. If you get it really spinning and you feel the forces pull and then it starts pumping the adrenaline, I think that's a big part of it. Is it wakes you up, it makes you feel alive, and especially if you do subpar or good job and you get the crowd fired up, that fires you up, and it just I don't know, it's just a blast. It's fun, man. Who doesn't like doing a burnout? I mean, how can you not like to get in the car with rear-wheel drive with, 200 to 700 horsepower and light them up and bang it all the way up into third gear and let it loose and have fun? And what makes a good car, I think, is like Homer that Chris has, that thing, it's hit the wall a couple times. It's not a show car anymore. So I think that's more of a dedicated burnout car. Would you agree, Chris?
100%.
And you would really not like to hit Linda into the wall, I guarantee.
Man, I would get mobbed if I run that car in the wall.
Yeah. So, I don't know, like a Crown Vic, that'd probably be a really good burnout car.
Crown Vics are super popular for that right now.
And you can find them anywhere. Something that they mass produced that is kind of overlooked, that you can get a lot of parts for cheap. I think that'd be a good burnout car. Or like anybody that used old C bodies for demo derbies.
Yep.
They went through those things in the 80s and early 90s like candy. And they were tried and true demo cars. So look for something that's affordable. Bias ply tires are great because they're fibrous. They won't tear stuff up like the radials will. I don't know. Just use your imagination. Think what the people want to see. There, that's my long-winded answer.
It was 100% true, every bit of it.
If you were building a car from scratch today, though, would you do anything different? Like, for example, the Nacho Cuda, what Blake put on his show in with last year, that has 430 gears in it.
Mm-hmm.
And still got enough wheel speed to do a good job, but it's got a lot of gear in it. So there are little things, like if you're building a purpose-built car today, I mean, like Blake said, you start with something like that's common, like Crown Vic, something like that. Would any of you say opt for fuel injection over carburetors, or any certain kind of transmission that you would take one over another?
I would stick with carburetors 100%, but that's just me.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah, keep it simple. Like the KISS method, right? Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Like Blake said, if you used to build something there, you can get parts anywhere. I mean, a lot of people use Ram pickup trucks, D150s, because they're in every junkyard in every state, everywhere. And they're super light in the bed. You can spin them around easy. Yeah.
But then you look at Australian World Cup burnout cars and how much money is in the motor, and these guys are spending that.
Yeah, but the Australians over there, it's like when they have super naps, you got 1 million people in the stands.
Oh yeah.
It is for real over there. They don't play around. And they use a lot of small cars. I mean, but They don't care. They catch them on fire. I mean, you know, Blake, they catch them on fire. They melt them to the ground.
You have to drive it off the pad too.
Yep.
And you can't go over a minute.
Yep.
So these guys are, they're turning high RPM, high wheel speed, lots of horsepower, and they're getting these tires to pop.
Oh, they're super
starting
strict.
with brand new
They're super
tires.
strict this year. You so much as they see any fire from the tires, the engine, or anything, you're automatically DQ'd. You run over a minute, you're automatically DQ'd. I mean, they don't play around over there.
Hey, Michael Schmidt, most people are hashtagging their videos with no-name nationals, and look for the channels that are registered and look for content on their channels, and you'll see great content there. I mean, that's exactly what you saw last year. It'll be everywhere. It'll be all over your suggestions page if you subscribe to these guys. And the links to all of their channels are down below, so check them out.
I actually think I have a playlist on my channel of a bunch of the No Name National Burnout stuff.
There's a lot of great content there, and there's going to be more coming this year. So what do you think about the difference between doing a burnout competition in daylight versus in darkness? Any difference? I mean, I know we have light plants, but does that affect what you do or anything in any way?
I like it better at night. It's like when you were a kid, it was always better to play football at night. It was always, I prefer the burnouts at night.
Well,
I'll have to agree there.
Yeah, that's right in my wheelhouse too, because burnout ever done like that. I had to do, like, we're going to say under the radar, and it was easier to get away with it at night.
Yeah.
Under the radar.
Under the radar.
I mean, from a pure picture standpoint, I mean, you can't get any better than that.
Nope.
I think that backlick smoke is pretty amazing. What'd you think, Blake? You've done burnout in both.
I think the crowds are out here at night. So, that could be influenced possibly. But I think you get a better crowd reaction at nighttime, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only done one at night, and that was no name. All the other ones that I've done have been daytime ones, but yeah, something about nighttime, man. It's just there's magic to it.
Yep.
Well, for one, nighttime last year was very comfortable. It wasn't miserable. It was just very comfortable. And at nighttime, you don't have to deal with the sun. You don't have to deal with anything beating down on you. It's just comfortable. Everybody was comfortable.
It's cool for the crowd too, because if you're at night, you're outside doing a burnout, especially if you're going, as they would say, on the chip or what your car can do. When them tires get down to the metal, they'll get to sparking up in the fender wells and kind of lights the smoke all up real nice. And then if you're like Linda, whose headers get bright orange, I mean, it's really cool to watch.
Mm-hmm.
What about fireballs coming from nitromethane through the
Oh,
building?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's steel bands sparking.
Yeah.
It enhances all the little details at night.
100%.
Well, this is a question I asked Blake last year, and I'll ask it to all of you now. What is the right size of burnout pit, or what is too small? Because remember, Blake, I was asking you, trying to figure out about what size we needed to look at. What do you guys think? What makes it too small to where, and what are the concerns with it being too small?
When it don't break.
I like the Australian setup the best. They have their own setup. It's one long straightaway, and you got a kickoff box to do like your tip in, so you can come in at like an 80 or 100 mile an hour tip in. You got a break off box where you can come in and spin around, and then you have your directional back and forth, your left and right. If you want to finish it off there, some of the pits we've been in this summer and last summer, where the pits, as wide as 2 of your cars and as long as 3, and you.
Oh wow!
That's where I hit Linda last year, and then I damn near total homer this year. Granted, they're cool for if you want technical driving, as Blake was putting a while ago, or Blue Collar's putting it. It's up to the driver. If you want to run it, 10, 15 mile an hour in a pit, and you want to weave in inside of 3 kick-out boxes and around. But the crowd don't want that. The crowd wants to see you flying there as fast as you can. And whether they admit it or not, they want carnage. They want to see somebody hit the wall. They want to see, You know, they want to see you all out. And so for me personally, it's the Australian setup is what I like best.
I like the pit we had at No Name because there was a drive-in, and then it was a big giant box with a grass field in the middle of it, and it was plenty big enough.
Yeah,
I felt
I think we're what are we like 150 something by 94.
that's perfect.
It's good size, and you're open so there's no barriers on two ends. So you have barriers on two ends, but then one of them you're open to the woods, and the other you're open to Sykeston Beach because it's the runoff at the end of the track.
Very safe burnout track for Linda.
There's nothing to hit on two sides.
So I can tell you what, in my opinion, makes the perfect burnout pit is one that's available.
That's fair.
I'll go with that.
I like Nate's style. He is the most can-do guy.
Yeah.
If you know what, if you were on the boat at Gilligan's Island, they wouldn't have been stuck there.
Well, dude, I'll tell you what. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. At any rate, though, it's like, I do want to say, it's like, I want to do this and I want to do it hard. And the reason I want to do that is how many times in your life you get to do this? I mean, it's like, obviously, busted radio here. I mean, easy, tearing it up pretty regular. But I mean, I'm going to bring my stupid little street car out and I'm going to beat it like it called my mama a name. And it's.
You'll beat it like it owes you money?
What's that?
Awesome. Said beat on it like it owes you money.
Yeah, like it called my mama. I can live without. I beat somebody up over my mama.
Yeah, so Corey's doing the valve float method. Is that what we're doing?
You know why? Because it ain't mine.
Just go ahead and shimmy your rockers. Get a couple more RPM.
No gauges, no nothing. Put it to the floor and let's go.
We didn't even watch the motor. It's got the junkyard grease on it.
Yep. No exhaust or nothing. Don't care.
I will say of the everybody we have here, this came out of the Nacho Cuda. Okay. So they run their stuff hard. Here's a rod and piston out of the Nacho Cuda. And this is some tire rubber from Williams Burnout that won last year. And there's 3 of these. William has one, I have one, and the other one is on the top of the trophy. So whomever wins this year, I would like to have a souvenir of some kind, piece of tire broken, throw a connecting rod, whatever. But I'd love to have a piece of that for the top of the trophy for next year, whomever wins. So we memorialize that little bit of carnage in a trophy.
That's awesome.
Hopefully I can win my trophy back.
Well, you got some stiff competition, man. It's definitely going to be a tougher challenge this year than last.
I am really looking forward to this year's burnout competition. Just for it was crazy last year. It is going to be double and triple that this year.
Yeah, that's epic.
Right.
I think the crowd's going to have a ball.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's going to be awesome.
I got one for each of you. Other than your own car, your own run, other than that, whose run are you most looking forward to watching? And we'll just go around the room. We'll start with William.
Well, I'm not run like for the burnout competition or going down the track or what?
Whose burnout competition run are you most looking forward to watching besides your own? Not saying you're cheering for anybody, just who do you want to watch? Who are you most excited to watch? Because you're fans too, at the end of the day.
It'd probably be a toss-up between Busted Radio and Blue Collar Performance, honestly. From the way they're talking about stuff, it sounds like it would be a really, really good show.
Fair enough. What about you, Chris?
To be honest with you, I really don't know. I mean, I just want to go out there and hang out with everybody and have a good time. I want to see everybody do a good burnout and bust the tires. I truly can't narrow it down to one, if I'm being honest, John. I mean, I love my boy Blake. I think it's going to be awesome to watch him. William's got a Mopar, which is going to be cool. And Blue Collar's got that small little car that's going to dance all over the place. So
I'm actually like that too, because
we got a different field of everybody.
Yeah, I'm not pulling for anybody. I just want to give everybody the best stage I possibly can to go out and do your thing on. And I'm looking forward to all of it. And whoever, shows up and shows off, that's what it's all about. What about you, Blake?
Well, here's the thing, fellas. I'm pulling myself out this year. I ain't gonna do the burnout contest, but I will be crew chiefing for the filthy hippie. And when you're crew chiefing or you're coaching, you gotta have a lot of support for them. So I'm gonna be in that guy's head, and I'm pulling for the filthy hippie to win it all this year.
That's awesome, man.
Sorry, guys, but when it's competition, we're friends now. Hey, we're buddies. We get out on the burnout pad, y'all. Hey, don't know you. Go hippie, go. Stop smoking. Get out there and smoke some tires.
Hippie might have done a trailer burnout last year. I can't confirm or deny.
There's nothing wrong with the trailer burnout. That's awesome.
Oh, it was a good one.
All right. So Nate's already said that he's looking forward to seeing his boy make a run. But what about you, sir? Who are you looking forward to watching the most? All right.
I like Jeff Smopar Joe's comment.
Exactly. Jeff Zuhak's the best bird. That's right. I think Jeff's car has about 3 miles of driving and about 103 miles of burnouts on it.
He had burnout test videos for like 2 weeks.
It's going to be a blast.
So it's going to be fun.
Joe, hey, Joe, since you're in here, who are you most looking forward to watching their burnout? Of anybody that you know is participating in the burnout competition, who would it be? I'm curious what Joe would say. Dizzy Izzy, what a wild card entry. Yes.
That's excitement right there.
Understand, this panel does not represent all the entries by any means. I just reached out to people who say haven't been on a live with me this year or who I knew were going to be in it, et cetera, et cetera. So this is just a sample. Hippie might join us tonight. I know he's got work, so if he can, he will. He's welcome to. But Hippie may be here tonight. I hope so. Big Block 402 wants to see another dirty hippie burnout. Yeah, I'll ask that question of everybody in the chat. For those of you in the chat, especially those who were No Name Nationals last year, who are you looking forward to watching the most?
John, I'll be right back, brother.
Yeah, man. I knew this would be a fun, rowdy little panel here because you're also you're into destructions and barrel of fun.
I know one thing. I'm looking forward to seeing how Candy Cane's coming along at Big Block 402.
Oh, it's good.
I watched it.
Question. The peanut gallery. Look at him down there. See, they're mischievous all the time down there. Look at that. Triple pickle burnout champion. Maybe. We'll see. We'll watch.
Big Block 402. I'm going to have to check out your video later.
So question, how many of you guys are doing bracket or 28-10-5 or anything else this year?
Depends on if my car survives.
Are you going to attempt the bracket, either blue collar, muslim cars, either one of you?
Well, it depends on if I have a functioning automobile after the burnout contest. It's like I'm legitimately not doing anything with the car other than driving it in Lamberts and driving it around. I mean, I'm not even gonna make a pass with it until the burnout contest because I know my luck.
Okay. Isn't the bracket before the burnout contest?
Yes.
So there you go. There you go.
There you go. William, are you going to enter the bracket this year?
Depending on John, I might be bringing his 78 Turbo and LS Malibu.
Okay.
So, small tire.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Chris, do you think you want to try your hand at anything else besides the burnout, like 28-10-5 heads up or bracket?
I might run her down the track a couple times, see how she does. Linda's never been down the quarter mile since I've owned her. The car was a drag car out of Arizona, and then a gentleman had bought the car because it was rust free, completely restored it, and then it went into a collection. And then I bought it out of the collection, put it in mine, and then I took all his hard work and destroyed it by making a burnout car. So I know at one point it was in its life, but I've never taken it down. So I'm bringing all my gear just in case.
Huh.
I just
I'd like
don't
to
know if
see
it's gonna. I'm just not sure if it's gonna pass tech because the car has no cage at all.
Well,
It'll be fine.
a couple things to pass tech. You don't need a cage until you get down below
What is it?
735, I think, to even having roll bar. And if you haven't taken it down the track, you don't know what ET you're going to run. So you can definitely take it down the track one. You do have to have a battery hold down. You have to have a catch can.
What gears motor is in Linda?
Linda's a 383 with 410s.
410s. Okay. So your 904 spare isn't going to work with that unless you got an Ultra Bell on it.
On what?
904s are all small block trannies.
Yeah, the 904 is for home. The 904s are for Homer, not Linda.
Oh, okay.
27.
I bet it'd run in the 7s, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Low 8s, high 7s.
I don't know. It's got that tunnel ram and it's got the two 750 carbs.
You shouldn't need a cage.
I may just run it down on a lazy run at first.
Yeah.
To get used
Sure.
to the car.
Sure.
I'll have to put rear brakes back on it because again, Linda doesn't have rears. And we'll just run it down and see what it does. If she feels like she's going to handle it okay, we can run it down.
That's cool. Well, just do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy, but you're welcome to.
Well, I'm going to do whatever makes the crowd happy. If they want to see her go down, I'll run her. I know that there was a lot of going around that they want me to run Jeff's Thunderbird. So two big body cars might look pretty good going down the track.
You know, Jeff doesn't have a pass on that car yet, so that's going to be interesting. He might take it and test it before, so we'll see. But guess it'll depend on weather and a few other things.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
Yep, you guys are always, of course, welcome to do call-outs and things, too. Big Block 402 wants to race you. You're already getting call-outs, Chris. Look at that.
That's fine. I'm down. It's no big deal. I'll do it up.
Barrows is not going to be able to make it. He said his father's got surgery and treatments during this year's No Name Nationals. So I hate it for Barrows that he can't make it, but I'm really glad he's going to be there with his dad. Yep. So we will miss you, ma'am. We'll miss you being there, but we're really glad you're able to be there for your dad.
Good luck, sir.
Yes, sir. Family first. Yep.
Right on.
Yep.
Right on.
Are you guys running a stick shift class at all, or no?
Not a stick shift class. Now, we had a lot of stick cars there last year. And when we look at classes, it all depends on what people bring. So, you know, when there's more people turn out for this, that, or the other is what determines whether or not there should be a class. So, Blake was talking about a Barracuda Cup just because there's so many Barracudas there. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, you never know. So, yeah, we could potentially see a stick shift class forming if enough stick shift guys turn up. But this event is more about just a community. We come together, we have a good time. It's our one time a year to see each other in person, all of us in the same spot. And so if enough guys are coming out bringing manual transmission cars, I can definitely see a stick shift class happening.
And what if we just bring a car that'll pass test passes with it?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Like, what if we just want to test and tune and it'll pass tech? Is that okay or no?
Yeah, you can test and tune. So the lanes are going to open every day for test and tune first, because there's a lot of people who come here who have untested stuff. They break their stuff. They're thrashing in the night on stuff. Stuff's not even running when it gets on the trailer to come there. And then there's people that have their stuff done a month ahead of time and everything in between. So each day will open with some test and tune. So you can just get in the lanes and make passes. You can do your call-out races at that time too. And then we'll have the rounds announced, in between all of it, so that you got time to cool down between rounds. But yeah, other than when the rounds are running, we'll be open and cleanup, obviously. We'll be able to run test and tune in between.
I will do. That's what I'm gonna do in the burnout pit. You're paying up after me. Be like, we're gonna durability test at 4.8 with diesel style.
I have a feeling we're going to need to take the sweeper up and really clean up at the top end this year. I think it's going to be a little more than just keeping the track clean. Are you guys all going to be there Friday morning, 9:00 Friday morning? We're doing a group photo on the track again. So, of course, you all know you're welcome for that. And I hope you can all make it. This year, what I'm going to do is we had cars in blocks of 20. And so we're going to change up the block number again to get people, give more people an opportunity who are returning to get toward the front of the photo. I just think that's only fair. But that's the idea. But it looked really good. I don't know if you've seen that, Chris, but we had a group photo of cars lined up all the way down the strip. So
yeah, I've seen it. That was pretty cool.
It should be a neat photo.
I'll be traveling through the night Thursday because it's almost an 8-hour drive for me. So I'll get there sometime Friday morning, get checked in because I'll have the family. So we'll get everybody settled down. We'll be there sometime Friday morning. I can't guarantee 9:00, but we'll be there.
Yep. We might leave Tuesday and show up Wednesday because I want that sweet power plug in next to that one pole.
We're going to do our best to get you that spot. We're looking for. Well, you said power, so we're working on that. But power is very limited.
I know there's 2 on one pole. I just need 110.
We'll do our best.
And hopefully the car stops not being fixed and ready to go. That'd be nice. I've been working on the car for 7 days straight and just keep finding more problems. I got a miss at 3,000 RPM right now. But at Watt, the car runs out the back door clean, but you can't part throttle cruise it. Like it's on a 2-step. Tore the front end apart, tore the transmission back out of the car, put the transmission back all in the same day.
Been there. That sucks.
True.
So what kind of last minute thrashing do all of you have to do to make this thing happen?
Well, right now we're working on Linda because she spun a bearing, so we got bearing material in my oil. So we're gonna have to see about that. She's coming one way or the other. If I blow her up and detonate her in your parking lot, she's coming.
But we are bringing 3 cars, so we're bringing.
Are you?
Yes, we're bringing the whole fleet.
So the nacho's coming down too.
Nachos coming down, triple pickle, and Death Pumpkin. Whether they like it or not.
The Bad Tree Fleet is coming down.
So if Death Pumpkin decides to shit the bed, I can just steal Jay's car.
So, but the Nacho still has the 21 on the door, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yep. Cool. Well, you got it again.
And Jeremy still has the, what is it, 22, 20? One of those two. It's starting 22. To peel off, but.
Yeah, that's okay. We got him. So you're already getting call outs for Nacho now because you said that. See, Steven, Big Block 402 is already calling out once. So we can call out Nacho?
I mean, you'll have to talk to Jabo about that. Work out those details. He hasn't raced down the track. And when's the last time he's raced? 2 years ago? So, yeah, he's going to be a little rusty. We'll coach him up. We'll get him pumped up.
Well, it'll be good stuff. I'm looking forward to that.
But the only last minute thing I need to do to my Charger is fix a fuel leak at my fuel pump that I just found out about last week. Last week or week before, I just haven't had a chance to fix it yet.
Yeah, we're taking care of RVs and the photos, Stephen. Don't worry.
Yeah,
and we'll have a gatekeeper on the top end this year just for that. We won't have any problems.
Did you see my community post, John, the other day?
I have not yet. Which one was that?
John Cope watched our transmission build video, and he said there's a bushing not seated all the way down. It's going to tear out your front pump. And I just got off the rack with the car, driving it around, trying to figure more stuff out to fix. And I get that text message. I'm like,
Ah,
Oh God! So drop the tranny, pull the torque converter, slide hammer the pump out, all underneath the car. Put the pump on the table, rebuild the pump again, slam it back in the tranny, torque converter in, and then get it all back in the car. And by 9:30 at night, I was covered in TF and kitty litter, and just wanted to shower so bad, tired, but we got it all.
and what
That's a
time did
lot
you
of work.
start that? What time did you
9
start that?
9 a.m.
In 12 hours, you got it turned around. That was a long, busy day, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Beats the alternative, though.
Oh, it's so easy to be lazy and just forget about it. I could have just went home and just said, screw it, I'll do it after the weekend.
You know something that I noticed everybody in this chat here has together, because I noticed certain qualities are occurring with everybody, even when they're real different people, real different cars and whatever. Everybody here is the kind of people that get stuff done, and they have it done, and they show up, and they're reliable and all of that. I see that common thing among everybody here. And, I think that that's part of it. I think that that's part of what it takes to be a person that can go out and incinerate tires and put on a show. You got to be wired to be reliable, successful, showing up, that kind of thing. I think you need that. I see that common theme here too.
I'd be lacking on content this week, though, because of all the problems. It's either you work on the stuff or you work on the computer. What are you going to do?
Yep. 100%.
Because it's hours on the computer to edit all the BS that we film, Oh, I'm excited. I'm very excited. 13 more days. Actually, like 11.
Yeah, it's 12 days and 2 hours and 43 minutes is what it is.
I just want to get down there and meet everybody. That may sound weird, but
Looking
I just
forward to
want to get
that.
down and meet everybody I've talked to for 2 years on here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, something too I'm curious about this. This has nothing to do with tech or cars or any of that. So we have an interesting mix of personalities here. What is your guys' favorite YouTube channel that has nothing to do with cars?
Oh,
They have
Nothing
those.
to do with cars.
Are those there?
Oh, hand tool rescue.
It's interesting.
That dude restores old antique tools and gasoline motor stuff, and it's just really cool. And the way he does it talk through it at all. Lately, he's had some talking in his videos, but usually it's just him taking it apart, showing how he takes it apart, and then how he fixes it. He uses that I forget what it's called, but it's some kind of rust remover chemical that he drops it in.
you got part of the name when you said it. Chemical.
Well, I forget what it's called, but it's a very safe thing to remove the rust, and it's just really cool.
I think for me, my favorite non-automotive YouTube channel would be Kentucky Ballistic.
Okay.
I could get behind that one.
What about you, Chris? What would it be?
To be honest with you, John, we don't watch much TV, bud.
I know you don't get to watch much.
Between the farmness and the cars, there's not a whole lot. We want, to be honest with you, if my wife to sit down and we just kind of chill out for a little bit, put our feet up, we watch a lot of those abandoned home exploration type channels.
Okay.
A house has been sitting abandoned for 50 years or kind of shit.
That's
like
cool.
that. That's just something between me and my wife.
That's cool. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. What about you, Blake?
My channel, it's still kind of automotive though, but it's more like sound systems and stuff. I'm not a big subwoofer guy by any means, but Sound Man Car Audio puts out superior, excellent content. He's at like 300,000 subs now. Funny as heck. I watch him to help learn how to edit and try to, imitate him every once in a while. But other than that, just whatever is some kind of documentary. Lots of documentary stuff.
It's interesting. I'm always curious how people think about these things when I have them on here, because we all like cars, obviously, and that's why we're all in this community. But we have other interests too, and it's just curious to see what people are into. And we have people that just seem like there's always something that someone knows about in this community, whether it's building houses, sharpening knives, painting pictures. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always somebody who has that talent and skill set. And I just find that neat. Doesn't matter what it is. Music.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
You know,
I mean, we all, everyone here has mechanical ability, obviously, and I'm fairly certain if anything happens to any of our homes or anything of that nature, where I'm fairly confident there isn't a whole lot of subbing it out kind of thing, we probably all generally fix our own stuff.
If there's a place to break your car, it's going to be No Name Nationals.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because there's going to be a lot of wrench turners there, man.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I will say is, like, I signed up for this deal on a whim. You know, it's like I was totally unaware of the lives or anything. It's like I'd seen the deal and stuff, but I just kind of signed up for it on a whim, and it has absolutely blown my mind the amount of talent in this community. It's unbelievable. I've got people from aerospace to everything else, and it's just it's unbelievable, and a lot of fun guys too. You know, it's like I just enjoy being part of it. I'm really looking forward to a lot of these people in person. You know, I'm excited. I've been waiting for this for a long time now.
Nate, we'll start with you for this one. I'm just kind of curious, like, what is your original skill set? Like what kind of careers do you all have or have come out of or whatnot? Because it's always interesting to me. We have people that do everything in this community, everything. So tell us what you do, you know, for a living or did or whatnot, or what's your original skill set, so to speak.
Well, what I do for a living now is I work at a muffler shop, which I kind of consider to be like semi-retirement, because I spent the last 29 years of my life prior to that as an auto mechanic. And I owned a body shop at one time, which, you know, explains why we do this. I've been a logger. I've just done a little bit of, you know, mostly just working on stuff. You know, it's like I started my automotive career at 18 years old, unloading 18-wheelers, unloading tires from 18-wheelers at a big tire distributor. And man, I just worked my way up. I've got a 9th grade education. I'm from a 300-person town in nowhere, Arkansas. And it's like, dude, it's just been blood, sweat, and years. Cars have always been a passion, so that's how I ended up where I'm at.
All right, on. What about you, Sir Muscle and Cars?
So I actually worked at O'Reilly's for 6 years commercially, and that's how I met Nate. And so I was the guy that nobody sees in the back dealing with shops. Left there, I worked for a drilling company, and then also worked for Kawasaki as a mechanic on motorcycles, and then eventually moved to open a shop. And now I teach at a college. I teach kids how to work on cars.
Nice.
Chris, what do you come out of? What, bodyguard down there?
What's that?
Do what?
Is that your bodyguard down there on the end?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've got so much respect for what this guy does for a living, like in all our local police, because I tell you guys something. In Harrison, Arkansas, man, it's a lot. It's
Well,
like
we were talking about favorite YouTube channels. I love watching the Arkansas State Police. Just saying.
he's on it.
I'm telling you. So I'll see one of those videos of some wild pit maneuver, and it'll be like right where Just Mopar Joe lives. I'm like, hey man, Troop B did this. Check this out. See, Chris, what do you come out of? I mean, like career or what do you do for a living or whatnot? I mean, it's just
I went to school as a young man. Ended up becoming a licensed plumber for the state of Kentucky. And I did service plumbing for probably 20 years until my knees couldn't take it anymore. And then, of course, we have our farm here. And for like a means of employment, I guess, if you will, I just work part-time for the railroad. Work 4 days a week, put money away, and then YouTube and hanging out with you fine people. But mainly just working part-time for the railroad, and then this farm.
That's neat. That's neat.
Yep.
Just everybody does different stuff here. It's just neat. I know Blake's done some interesting stuff too. Tell us a little bit about what you've done, Blake, outside of YouTube, because it is interesting stuff.
Well,
OnlyFans.
Yeah, well, it all started out, mowing lawns and shoveling snow, like most of us,
Yep.
But my parents owned a restaurant, so my first job was bussing tables and washing dishes. And then I worked at a lumber mill when I was 14, stacking boards. After that, I got a job at a grocery store, fronting canned goods and stocking shelves. I went off to college to be a police officer. That didn't pan out for me. I ended up getting into the LP service trade and was a Class A CDL card holder, LP CTEP certification. Became a volunteer firefighter for 8 years. Just resigned from that, and then from all my LP service, I became an LP sales manager. Pretty cushy job. Then I got hit by a car when we started the YouTube channel, lost my job. Now I work at the marina part-time as a welder fabricator, mechanic, and do YouTube. And
Very cool.
No longer firefighter.
Man, million talents.
Done with that.
Well, thank you for your service as a firefighter anyway.
Well, thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
William, what about you?
Well, growing up, my dad was a mechanic and actually owned his own shop for a little while. Actually had the pleasure of my very first job was actually working with my dad at his auto shop. Worked there for a good while. Worked at FedEx out in the hub in Memphis. Did that for almost 9 years. Worked at a auto parts warehouse in the quality control department, which is a really interesting spot for me because before that I was on the outside looking in. Then that job put me on the inside looking out. So it was really interesting seeing both sides of the parts world. Worked at a tissue manufacturer in Memphis making toilet paper. Currently, I'm making large-scale power plant transformers. So go to solar farms, wind farms, and stuff like that. One of them that we recently built not that long ago actually went to the very first offshore solar farm in the U.S. So it's a really, really cool job.
That's shocking to hear.
So one thing I'm curious about too, and I watch. I keep an eye on what you guys are doing because I always like to see what people in the community are doing. But Chris, what's I know you like to do a lot of giveaways and stuff like that, and what inspired that? What made you say I just want to do this? Because it is kind of different and neat. It's exciting.
Well, the story that I tell to everybody that asks me this, and it's not necessarily a story. It's a true fact. We were in an event one time for one of the bigger YouTubers, and I'm sure y'all can figure it out. And my wife and I were there just kind of chilling out, waiting for the show to open. And if you go to some of these bigger YouTube channels, they got like rat runs until you go up, meet somebody, and then you run through what I call the merch circle, where they sell you all this and that and the other. You pay for it. Then you get to meet whoever you're there, right? Well, Kathy and I were standing back watching this go on, and this dad had his kid, and they wanted to go meet this YouTuber, but the dad couldn't afford to take his kid through the merch run, right? So ultimately, the kid didn't get to meet this YouTuber because his dad couldn't afford to buy the merch, and it was just terrible. I felt so bad for this damn kid. And you see it every day. Like if you watch this, they're like, hey, you got a chance to do this if you spend this, or you got a chance to do that if you spend this and this and that and the other. And I'm like, you know what? Screw that. You know what I mean?
Right on.
I don't know if we all get paid to do this in some form, fashion, or the other if you're monetized, right? I mean, you get paid to do it. And Kathy, my wife and I are in a position to where, I don't have to depend on this. So I was like, if there's somebody out there if a little kid or somebody's wanting to meet us or whatever, and they want a shirt, I'll be damned if that kid's not going to be able to come up and say, hey, what's going on, BRG? You know what I mean? And their dad's not going to have to worry about it, or the mom's not going to have to worry about it after just spending probably $200 or $300 to get their kid there, to get him in the door. And you're not going to say hi to this kid because your dad ain't got $25 for a shirt. So I think Blake's probably been here as long as that, but I think we were 50 subs in and I done my first giveaway. And like people emailing us and saying, man, we really needed that tool, or hey, man, we really needed this to get something done. So screw it. We're fortunate enough to have sponsors for the channel, and they throw hats in or tools in or whatever, and then my wife and I will take $500-600 a week or something, and we go in with whoever and buy a ton of stuff, and then we just give it away. And I told everybody, the bigger this channel gets, the bigger gifts we're going to give away. And I take all the money from our memberships. I take all the money from the YouTube itself, plus money out of my pocket. And we just pay it forward. I mean, granted, we sell shirts, but like all these BRG shirts and stuff like this, I give them away. We got little kids that we get emails from their parents and say, hey, little Billy would like to have one of your shirts. I call my merch shirt maker, and I have made just like this, but to add to it, I put their name on it. So let's say little Billy, and then on the back I put BRG's world's biggest little fan, and I put it on the bottom of the shirt, and I'll send it to their kid. And you know what I mean? Now it makes the parents happy, but now I got a little kid out there who is the future of what we're all building here every day, right? They're gonna want to be involved in the car community. So, but that one instance is what did it for me, is watching that little kid walk away crying because his dad couldn't afford to buy him a shirt. And I told Kathy, we're never going to be them. I don't give a crap how big this gets. That's what we're going to do. And that's the reason we're setting up to give away the cars and the lift. And
cool.
That lift could change anybody's life in that chat right now.
Woo. Good. Yeah,
man.
And and I'm not charging them for it. If you're a sub and we draw your name and I can see it, I'll ship the thing straight to your driveway. No problem.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Yep. There's just the person's either wired to want to be that way and to give, or it's just to know all people's wiring. And I really respect that. I think that's cool.
Yep. I was that little kid when I was a kid, single mom raising his kids. She couldn't afford to do that stuff. You know what I mean? And obviously this guy was a working man, trying to help his boy out and stuff. And I get it. People got a business to run, but what's $18? You know what I mean? Call that kid over there and give him a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I got monetized here a while back, and it's like, what I did was I ordered a bunch of stickers, and I just said, hey, I'm going to give these away if you'll just send me a self-addressed envelope. It's kind of the same deal. It's like giving back, because at the end of the day in this YouTube stuff, if you're making money at it, you're making money because these people are taking a portion of their lives and watching your video. So it's like, it's my goal to create something they want to watch. And it's like, this truck right here is a prime example. I refuse to just put out video after video of me sanding on this stupid truck, because that went on for a long time. And I was really struggling with stuff to come up with, but I wasn't going to do that, because these people commit part of their lives, and you can't get that back. It's like I said earlier, this ain't practice. If you commit part of your life to watch my videos, it's my goal to give you something worth watching. And if I am benefiting from you watching this, you're going to benefit as well if I can make that happen.
Yep.
Everybody gives in different ways, and I can tell you, like the Bad Tree guys, they're generous, and they're generous when nobody else is watching. Like when we ever need something in a pinch, and we were at the event doing giveaways, those guys are generous when nobody's watching. They're just that way. And so I really think it's cool that all of you guys you like to give back. I just think that's really neat. That's a good quality to have. I like seeing that in people they like to pay forward anything that's been good in their lives like that. And I like that about all of you guys.
Thanks, John.
Well, thank you. That's very nice.
I mean that. We live in a world that has gotten more me and self-obsessed than ever. I mean, if you think about it, is overall, but this community still has more and more people who are give people the shirt off their back kind of folks, and I see that. Especially, I saw it in Sykeston last year. I mean, I never saw more people do more for each other at an event than I saw last year. So I just thought that was really cool, and I appreciate that about all of you.
I brought a bunch of merch thinking it could pay for my fuel, and then I just ended up like the last night just giving it all away. Like, hey, what size do you wear? Here, have a shirt. You know, I might have had a few wobbly pops, whatever.
We got a little bit of time left. Does anybody in the chat have any questions for any of these guys? It's been fun tonight. You know, we did a live with the bracket guys talking about the bounty on Joe. We did a live with the Heads Up 28-10-5 guys, and now we're very fortunate to have a panel of burnout competition guys on here. So, did any of you guys have? Because this is going to be the last panel and guest live that we're going to have before the No Name Nationals this year. This is it. So next Friday will be an administrative live where we talk about logistics, questions, camping, the track, etc. All of those type of questions. Next live is the time to ask, and I'll have my email posted up. So if it's something I don't know, I'll get it for you. But this is our last panel of participants before then. So Cletus wants to know if he can have y'all's autographs.
You won't be able to read it, but sure.
Yeah. You won't be able to read it, yeah.
I can't figure
At least it won't feel weird when Cletus is asking because you know him.
I think last year I forget who it was, but somebody was going around with a banner and having everybody sign it.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody's doing that again this year, I have no problems. I sign it again. I'm actually doing a sticker bomb deck lid on the back of my Charger. So if you're coming to No Name, slap your sticker on the back of my Charger and I'll get it hung up on my wall after No Name.
I probably give about 20 autographs a year, and they're all at No Name Nationals, and they're all for vendors and payout checks, and that's it. That's the only autograph. Michael Schmidt's asking, how do you make smoke in different colors? That's a good one for you guys.
Order your tires from Australia.
Yeah.
$600 a set shipped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any color you want.
Part is a question for the Dirty Hippie. Dirty Hippie was going to try to make it tonight. I know he had work. I know that, and was trying to use a cell signal from at work. So I'm not sure if the logistics of that worked out, but we do have his stunt double and crew chief Blake here in the house. So that worked out really well. But so Hippie's welcome to come back. Looks like he had to take a rain check tonight. Ron English has a shirt that he's getting signatures on. He's collecting. That's cool. Please bring it. Let's see here. Anybody else have anything for these guys? They were gracious enough to spend their Friday here with all of us. Yeah, Barrow says guys in the community will drive 2 to 3 states away to hand deliver a transmission to someone that needs it. You aren't kidding. That's the kind of people we have. That's the kind of people I want to be there. I have said before, and I absolutely mean it, I don't care how cool someone's car is. If they have a nasty character or something like that, I don't want them there. I don't care how fast your car is, how big your name is, how big your channel is. We want to see people of good character and good community values there. And I figure the cars will take care of themselves.
Yeah, you don't want
guys like all of these.
Bud.
Yep, absolutely great guys.
If
Any of you
anybody's
guys
in the
have anything you'd
Northeast
like
area,
to
Do what?
sorry, I kind of cut you off, John.
No, go ahead. Anybody in the Northeast area? Go ahead, Blake.
If there's anybody in Southwest Wisconsin, Northeast Iowa, and you want to twist a wrench and give me a day or two break, come on over. There's beer in the fridge. We even got some squirt soda, bottled water. You know, we can order up some pizza. Stop on by, especially if you're good with electrical.
Yeah. I'll make that same offer in Kentucky if somebody wants to go.
I'm this close to dumping Chevy parts in the damn thing just to try to get it to run more consistent.
Yes, UP,
Do
that is
any of
true,
you guys-
brother.
Do you have anything you'd like to plug? Anything coming up on your channels? Anything you're doing? You're certainly welcome to here. William, do you have anything?
Not currently, man. I'm trying to work this weekend. I'm gonna be working on an extra tailgate I picked up for my Ram. I'm gonna make a fifth wheel style tailgate to go on my Ram, so I can have my Cushman and loaded up in the back of my Ram, with my Ram hooked up to a trailer pulling the Charger. And I gotta keep the tailgate down, and I gotta cut it out to clear the screw jack on the trailer. So it'll be a very interesting loadout going
You
to No
can't
Name.
just take the
What,
tailgate
what
off.
if you just used a floor jack instead of your screw jack?
Well, the screw jack is welded onto the trailer that I'm borrowing, and it is not the design that can fold down. So,
Chris, you got anything you want to plug? Anything coming up on Busted Radio Garage? Anything like that?
My community page, I'm on there 3 or 4 times a day. I think just go stay on top of that, and you'll know what's going on. Winter content's coming around, so that's when we start getting into our car collection and bringing those out. The only thing I'd like to plug, and if anybody watches my lives, I know Blake's in there every now and again, is I'd like to see everybody. There's an organization out there. It's called Skits for Kids,
Mm-hmm.
and they take all their winnings and they donate it to children's hospitals. And what we do is at every skit event we go to, we gather up toys, money, clothes, and then once the event's over, they deliver all this to a children's hospital. So it's not going to an organization or somebody you don't know. It'll go directly to the hospital, directly to the parents, directly to the kids. So they take all their proceeds from their YouTube and they do that. So anybody that's watching, if you could, go to Skids for Kids on YouTube and just support them for me so that we can continue to help these sick children. That's all I ask.
Can you spell that out? Because I'd like for one of our moms, Joe, or this project.
It's Skids, SKIDS, and then the number 4, and then KIDS. And their website is Skids for Kids USA, and they're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, pretty much anything.
If one of you mods could post that in the chat, I'd appreciate it. We'll put that up and check it out. And after this is over, I'll paste it down in the comments section or in the video description and pin it, because there's a lot of people watch these after the fact. Blake, you got anything for BTP you want to plug?
Let me see here. Oh, Jesus. Oh, first and foremost, if you have Facebook, join the Bad Tree Productions Facebook page. We'd love to see pictures of your project cars. Share your content. Try to get some extra eyeballs on it. We don't care. Post anything you want as long as it's automotive related or has tacos in it. Another thing is hopefully sometime the content's piling up right now. I'm going to have a Cope Racing valve body trans brake transmission part 2 build, and that going in the car. Alignment of the Dart is coming up in another episode, and then us tearing everything back apart episode, Jeremy painting his hood episode, and I don't know, I'm gonna try to dump it all next week. So keep your eyes out if you want to laugh at us for all of our mistakes. Check us out. And yeah,
Count me in. I'll be there to laugh at you.
join the Facebook page though. We're almost at 1,000 members, so it'd be cool to hit that here soon.
Right
That's
on. We'll put a link to that under the video as well. Gentlemen in the lower right, anything you'd like to plug coming up on your channel and anything like that?
Well, there should be a couple of pretty cool burnout videos coming up in a couple of weeks.
How to blow up a turbo with one easy step?
I fly by the seat of my pants, man. It's I've been gathering parts for my S10 build, and I'm kind of at a crossroads on it because, well, I may just make a video on it, but now I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I wake up in the morning. You know, it's a new and interesting venture every day.
The first drive on the 64 Impala is coming up on our channel.
Right on. Sounds good. Well, guys, I appreciate you spending your Friday evening here, and thank you so much for turning out. Been great. I've learned a lot of stuff too. You know, listening to what you guys tell me goes into building a car and that kind of thing. It's really cool. Let's put Blake on solo here if we can. It'll let me.
Trying to see what he's got there.
Let's see what we got there. And so I'm going to solo. Let me just say.
It's my current situation right now. It's disappearing.
There we go.
Yeah, we were shimming the rocker shafts last night. I got too late to fire it up, so seemed to help. We're still concerned that we're having an ignition issue though, so I don't know.
Blake, bring me one of them BTP shirts to Sykeston.
Oh yeah, I got one just for you, Chris. I'm bringing a box of shirts. I'm actually hand delivering all the No Name Nationals shirts and stickers to John Wilburn this year again.
Nice.
Yeah, they're the official transit company. Schultz Sign does our shirts, and they look fantastic. And so they're going to be bringing shirts down with them. So
cool. I have no problem buying one. I'd love to have one.
Nope, one's for you for free, buddy.
I do have a picture.
That, sir.
I do have a picture I want to show. I want to show real quick for those who haven't. I need to turn off my background. For those who haven't seen my video on my homemade winch mount, I was able to successfully get my Cushman loaded up in the back of my truck.
That's cool.
Solo. What?
Yep, that's how it. That's
see why you can't take the tailgate off now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's gonna be a interesting drive going to No Name. I'm only a couple hours away, so it ain't bad.
That's cool.
So here's a stupid question. You was talking about notching the tailgate. What if you like made some ramps that the front wheels would sit on that would support the rear wheels, and then like strap the front down tight to like?
I have thought about that, but it is I think definitely doable, but in the time frame and in my budget right now before No Name, it ain't gonna happen. So my cheapest option is to notch the tailgate. I picked up an extra tailgate for like $50, and I'm gonna notch it out, box it back in with some metal that I already have, and just run with it.
Yeah, what Blue Collar said, that's how we do our quad runners here for deer season. Exactly
what if you put just one ramp, because it's a 3-wheeler, right?
Yeah.
What if you put one ramp in the center and wedge the Cushman in it and then shut the tailgate?
I have thought about that too. That's probably something I'm going to be working on for next year.
Well, what if you were to put it in backwards, like with a third wheel, and then just get like something to put across the bed under it to support it, and just let the wheel hang?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I did that, I would probably still have issues with the screw jack.
No, but you'd have your tailgate shut with your third wheel just over the.
Take the tailgate off. Just like raise it up and like get like put underneath the front and do that. And where I came up with that idea was we had a big limousine on the lift at the muffler shop here a while back, and we did something similar that I am certain was not OSHA approved.
They're always not looking though.
I tried everything I could to find somebody with a trailer who was driving through the Memphis, Tennessee area who could pick up my Cushman for No Name and bring it back. But I ran out of people to talk to, so I had to come up with something. So that's what I came up with.
Guys in the chat, if you know anybody who might be able to do that, who's coming through Memphis, let us know. Maybe we can work something out for William.
Well, I've already got a winch. My latest video, I mounted a winch to the front of the bed of my truck, and it pulls that Cushman up with ease. So I'm okay with my current loadout after I notch that tailgate. So I'll be okay this year.
Cool. Well, guys, I'll just go ahead and wrap and let you get on with your Fridays. I appreciate you all coming out very much. It's been a fun panel for sure.
Hey, before
Got
everybody
anything, Nate?
spins out, make sure to go smash that like button for John.
For sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, go smash
Yeah,
that like button. He's doing everything he can for everybody.
And send a poor guy
And
a
we're gonna
super
put up a
chat
link
every
for
once in a while too.
I can. We'll talk about that another day about the super chat thing. But I do very much appreciate them, and thank you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate the chat coming out. Without the chat, we wouldn't do this. We could all hang out and conference call and talk, but we do this for you guys. So thank you all for coming out. And with that, don't forget, next Friday is going to be the last live before the No Name Nationals. It's going to be a logistics-oriented live. When do the gates open? Where are the shower houses? Do you have a handicap accessible restroom? Yes, we will. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of that stuff, we're going to tackle that next Friday. And the Friday after that, we're going to be live from the burnout pit where you can see these guys do their thing. So with that, y'all have a good evening, and thanks for coming out. We'll see you again next week.
See you,
Looking
fellas.
forward to
Thanks,
seeing
John.
y'all.
See you, boys.